In the last 5 months, I've made $8,801.85 doing absolutely nothing. Here's how I did it. Okay, that's how I wish it happened, but I actually earned that money through YouTube. Let's talk more about that. So I'm just gonna show you guys here that I took a break from YouTube for over 5 months. And as you can see here, even when you're taking a really long break off of YouTube, your channel still brings in views and it's making you money even while you're not doing anything at all. So yeah, this is the span of time from February 2nd to July 11th, so well over 5 months that I didn't post any videos. I mentioned this in a community post, but I had to take some time off just for personal reasons. But I wanted to show you guys here what happens when you have a passive income source. So even though I didn't do any work on this YouTube channel for over 5 months, I continued to gain money every single day. All of this revenue here, like almost $9,000, is coming from work that I've already done in the past. I'm just gonna change tabs here and show you guys what my channel has done since the very beginning. So here you can see I started my channel in January 2021 and I didn't get monetized until October. You can see in October I made $121, November was $348, December's $258, and in January I had a semi-viral video which I'll post up on screen. And it's the reason why it's such a big jump here. Like I went from making $258 in a month to over $5,000. And I think before I made that video, my channel was only around 3,000 to 4,000 subscribers, and it just like 10x'd from there. It really shows how fast you can grow and how your channel numbers can just change overnight. Like you have to remember here that I was making videos semi-consistently for about a year before this happened. So if you're out there and you have a YouTube channel too, and you're grinding videos and you're not seeing any results yet, just know that the next video that you make could be one that blows up and it could lead to really big growth in your channel just like it was in mine. But yeah, February was the month where I started taking my break, and you can see that it still brought in $2,700. And March had no videos, but it was still over 1,000. April was 1,600, May was 1,600, and June was 1,500. But yeah, even though the level of revenue here has dropped off, and I probably left some money on the table by taking such a long break, you can see here that YouTube really is a passive income source. So if you scroll back up here, you can see the total for everything since the beginning of my channel. I made 26 videos with 1.2 million views, which has brought me in $15.6 thousand, which is super good. Like I'm very happy with that. But before I go any further, I'm not showing you these numbers to brag in any way. One of the biggest reasons I started a YouTube channel in the first place was because so many other YouTubers were sharing their revenue numbers as well, and it really inspired me to start my own. So I'm hoping by being transparent here and sharing a little bit about my journey, it might inspire one of you guys to start your own YouTube channel too. But yeah, if you've been following my YouTube channel, you know that I also have an Etsy shop that brings in much more revenue than this. And I really can't explain it, but this YouTube revenue is just way more rewarding for me. I think it could be because this YouTube thing is just so out of my comfort zone that I'm just really proud of myself for convincing myself to do it. Like if you know me in real life, I'm really not the person that would be doing YouTube at all. Like back in school, I wasn't one of those kids that was in drama class or the class clown. I was the shy kid at the back of the class, not saying much. So yeah, consider starting a YouTube channel even if you've never thought it before, or if you don't think you're the type of person to. Maybe you can have some fun making a couple good videos and bring in some money as well. So the reason I'm sharing this was because when I posted my last video about how I thought YouTube was a passive income source, a lot of people were saying how it was not passive at all. They were saying it was really hard to make videos, you could never stop if you wanted to, and it just wasn't really passive. And I think what's happening is that the term passive income has become more mainstream over the last few years, and there's some misconceptions about what it actually means. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, and you can't just turn on a switch and get free money. It's about disconnecting your inputs and outputs, which I admit really doesn't have anything to do with the word passive at all. So maybe a better word for it would be scalable income instead of passive income, because that's what people are really talking about when they're talking about passive income. So before I get more into detail about what passive income is and how to get it, let's talk a little bit about regular income. Most people have this, and this is just income that you get for being paid for your time. With regular income, 1 hour of work equals 1 hour of pay. And you can see how this is not scalable at all, because if you want to increase your income, you have two options. One is to increase the amount of hours you work, or two is to increase the amount you get paid per hour. With option one, there's only 24 hours in a day. So unless you want to die from exhaustion, you can only really work a fraction of them. So for most people, increasing the amount of hours you work is really not feasible. With option 2 and increasing the amount you get paid per hour, that's actually a really valid strategy, and it's one I recommend if you actually like your job. The problem that arises is that if you hate your job already and you're stressed out all the time about your work, a lot of the times trying to move higher up in your company and going for promotions leads to even more stress and hating your job even more. And when you don't like your job and you're spending so much time at work, you really have to ask yourself whether the increased salary is really worth the increased unhappiness that might come along with it. But again, this really only applies if you dislike your job in the first place. If you're happy with what you do and you're happy with the company that you work for, trying to move up and trying to get paid more per hour is a really solid strategy. So let's move on to what passive income is, using YouTube as an example. On average, one YouTube video, like the one that you're watching right now, takes me about 10 to 15 hours to make. 10 to 15 hours includes all the planning, the filming, and the editing that I do. But the thing that separates this from regular income is that what I earn isn't based on how much hours I put into it. Once a video is made and published, how much I earn depends on how many people like the video and how many people watch it. And if your audience is large enough and enough people like your content, you'll continue to earn money from it long after you've made it. Remember, I haven't made a video for over 5 months and I've earned over $8,000 on it. If you have a larger audience than me, that amount of money could be even crazier. But before you go off and try to start your own passive income source right now, I want to talk about some misconceptions that people still have about the topic. And again, I think it's because of the word passive is used when it probably should be something like scalable. But the first misconception is that you don't have to do any work. In reality, passive income takes a huge amount of work up front to get started. You have to remember that I was making YouTube videos semi-consistently for almost a year until I made a single dollar off of it. And honestly, it was really hard to do because you kind of have to put your ego aside. In those early days, I was putting the same 10 to 15 hours into making a video, but it was only getting like 13 views. So not only is the work in itself hard to do at the very beginning, it's hard on you mentally as well, because in the beginning, it's likely that you're not going to be making much money and you're going to have to force yourself to stay dedicated, and that's really hard too. Passive income misconception number 2 is that it means getting something for nothing. I say this all the time and it seems like it doesn't stick with people, so I don't think I'm going to stop saying it anytime soon, but money is just an exchange of value, and if you want to earn money, you have to be creating value in some way. When you're creating something, whether it's a product or a piece of content, you have to think about your audience or your customers first. How is the thing you're creating bringing them value? Is it entertaining them? Is it teaching them something they want to know? Or is it helping them in some way? These are questions that you need to ask yourself when you're trying to provide value to somebody. There's really no such thing as free money, and you have to provide value if you want to earn it. The third misconception about passive income is that you can build it quickly. Today, you can get anything you want delivered to your doorstep in one day, and you can stream anything you want to watch with the click of a button instantly. It's really no surprise that people are obsessed with getting things as quickly as possible. In fact, if you're watching my videos, you might be getting ads where people are promising that you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars in like a few months just by purchasing a course or something like that. These are probably all scams because, at least in my experience, building these types of income streams takes a really long time. I'm gonna bring up an example of Mr. Beast on YouTube because people talk about him all the time. Everyone says his life is super amazing. He's just going around making fun videos with all of his friends and he's making millions of dollars doing it. When people hear about success stories like this, they often leave out the part where that person has been working really hard for a really long time. Everyone is so focused on how great his life is now, but he's been grinding, making videos every week for 10 years. And it's really a common theme for people who manage to get successful. Of course, there's outliers and overnight successes, but the vast majority of people who get some kind of financial success have been working really hard consistently for a long time. Success doesn't happen overnight, and it helps to remember that because there are times you might be disappointed when your results aren't coming as fast as you want. Misconception number 4 is that you need tons of money to get started. Obviously, there's exceptions to this. If your dream is to be a tech reviewer or a luxury good reviewer, you're gonna need some money up front to buy things to review for your channel. But with a channel like mine and a lot of others on YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok, all you really need is your phone. And really, phone cameras these days are really good. I'm using a fancy camera now, but this is not something I bought to get my YouTube started. This is a camera that I already had just because photography is a hobby of mine. I didn't wait to buy it to start my YouTube or anything. But yeah, you really don't need that much money to get started. Even with something like my Etsy shop, which I consider semi-passive, because after I have all my designs done, I feel like the machines are doing most of the work for me. That shop, I got started with only $400 to $500. I bought a desktop printer, a sticker machine, and some sticker paper, and it's grown into something I consider a real business now. It's brought in some really good money for me and my family, and it's safe to say that that small investment from the very beginning was worth it. Whenever I recommend to people to start a side business and try to earn some passive income, one of the responses that I always get is that it's really hard to become successful. They tell me that so many people try and so few people succeed, and that you really have to be lucky to be successful. And while all of that is true, it really helps if you redefine your definition of success. You don't have to make so much money to the point where you can quit your job and live on a beach for the rest of your days to be successful. Sometimes it helps to dream smaller if it helps you get started. Making a few $1,000s doing something on the side that you enjoy, earning some extra money so you can take your family on a vacation that you wouldn't be able to afford otherwise, like that's success too. I already consider this YouTube channel a success. YouTube could delete my channel tomorrow and I could not make another dollar off of this channel, but it wouldn't change anything. I made an extra $15,000 that I wouldn't have had if I didn't start this channel. And I get messages from people all the time telling me that I've really helped them with their shops, or I've given them inspiration to start their own business. That's success too, and in a way it means a lot more to get those messages than the money that I've made. And it could be a success even if it's just a temporary thing. Like if you start something, that doesn't mean you have to do it for the rest of your life. It can be something that you just try out, and if you like it you can keep going, and if you don't you can stop. But yeah, I do admit that no matter how you define success, there will always be an element of luck no matter what you do. But the only way that you can get lucky is to create stuff and put it out in the world. You have to at least try. The people who get lucky and make hundreds of thousands of dollars on a business they started or a YouTube channel they started, like they didn't get there by coming home after work and sitting on the couch and watching Netflix. They had a willingness to try something new, and because they did that, like they were able to be lucky. Maybe when I started my sticker shop, none of my products hit it off and I didn't make any sales. Or maybe I never made that YouTube video that blew up my channel like it did. Success itself is never guaranteed, but if you never try, you're guaranteed to get nothing. But yeah, that's it for the video guys. I hope you found it useful. If you like this one, you might like the video I made sharing my revenue numbers for my sticker shop on Etsy. I'll link it up right over here. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Take care of yourselves and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.